Okay, this is it's a testimonial as always. Uh, Throughout this week, you'll see a lot of videos of the different things I got the opportunity to see, and I will have a good testimonial about this. You know, one thing about being a target individual is an alternate reality is being implanted into you. Reality is no longer natural. Reality is designed by people who are trying to get you to accept a fantasy of theirs, because what is happening is the reality is, as I keep saying, you hear these things, you hear the noise campaign, those are not happening organically. This is in correlation to get me to subscribe to something. It's all tactics to brainwash somebody to accept these things. We know, target individual, that we're in a program that is obviously run by some kind of government entity, obviously DoD. Now, the people around you, they are just contracted. You have a whole ecosystem that orchestrating, is orchestrated to provide this reality they put together. It's based on falsifications. And they really are trying to get you to accept this false reality. Because at this point, I think we get to a stage, target individual, you will understand that, what we see really is just a fraud. It's a facade. We understand that we are in something bigger, that is just bigger than what's being presented. You see these people, children involved. You see neighbors who are like, well, how would this, like, and you think, yeah, oh yeah, these people are doing that, and then you realize, obviously, that can be true. Obviously, this is a program that is bigger than what is portraying itself to be. And you understand that what you're experiencing, earlier you found out something's happening to my brain. I was writing letters to newspaper before I even know what target individual was. I was saying, listen, there's this technology, something's happening, this kind of government entity, and my employer and I was saying that before knowing everything. And I was literally saying they have the ability to not only access my brain but also manipulate it. Before I knew a single thing about being a target individual, I was just talking about what I was experiencing. Now, you get the validations based on testimonials that so many others have provided, even before me being a target individual. Even before a single of these things that they make me experience, I experienced it. They were talking about it. Even before all of that. And you hear these people doing the exact same thing. These perps. For me, it's very simple. They are very consistent, just like everybody else. They force you to experience their thoughts, then they tell you you're going to be raped, you're going to be tortured, we're going to frame you, and to try to hold on to these false things. Every time they want you to stop thinking in the right perspective of things, they tell you about a torture. You're going to be screaming because you're going to be in pain. This is going to happen to you. And they try to get you to accept these things. And then now my logic and my rationality is completely destroyed. Nonsensical-ness can be implanted, and my brain will truly try to make sense out of this. And this is why I make these videos. That's why you see a lot of videos. Because there'll be a time I will not be able to rationalize, like it will completely go away. The things they make me experience and try to make me accept is unbelievable. I should have known that. You should know, based on the perps. For me, I feel like childlike individuals who themselves, you understand, they're almost children. If they're not children, they're just barely adults. You understand, these people are just not, they're almost children. They can't even tell themselves, like they don't even know who these people are. They don't even know who they are themselves. But because of the sophistication of this technology, the perps involved can be anybody. And they just say things systematically, and I'm sure everything is guided to say, they say these things at a certain time. And basically these people who can't even guide themselves to anything are guiding you to think a certain way, because this technology is that sophisticated. And so you understand. And they try to be condescending. It's like, oh, he knows. Like, they use the most basic gaslighting methods, but because the technology is so sophisticated, these basic ways of gaslighting somebody, because this person can never gaslight me. When I hear these people talking to me, I'm like, in person, I'll laugh at you. He knows. He's such a con. This is things like, I'm like, oh my gosh, how old you think this is really gonna get to me? But because my brain is just so overran by their thoughts, it's like, oh, he knows. Try to create the doubts. It's like, oh, I should ignore all the validation, saying the same things that I'm saying before I even knew these people existed, and be like, oh, but these people are different, even though they sound just like the other people testimonials. I should not think that this is this is not the same program. That's truly what they want me to think. But my brain is gone. And they continuously try to act accordingly. You'll see a bunch of pictures of people's try to make me subscribe. I don't even know where to start, but let me just give you, for example, I went downstairs. Unfortunately, I'm so sad that I was not able to capture the picture. There was this like teenager, 16-year-old, some kind of heavy set. I'm gonna describe her the way she looks, and I'm sorry. I don't want to insult anybody, but because in my mind, they can create perceptions. They can make me look at a child and make me create perception that's sexual. So that's why I like to take pictures, because reality is different. You see them, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they forced me feeling this way. Right? And so this kid was like 16, 17 years old, kind of like, you still see the pimple in her, like, she's kind of big. Like, no, there's nothing wrong. She's a kid. I don't even want to insult her, but I want to describe how she looks. They were giving me some sex, like, stimulation and perception that, like, try to make me look how a voluptuous woman, an adult woman will look, and just try to create something and try to find a way to make me look at this child, this teenage old kid, in a sexual way. And I'm sorry, but it was obviously creations. And I'm looking at her. I'm so, I regret not taking like a video of that person. That's why I hate it. Because, at first I didn't want to look. I was like, getting some strong stimulation and perception, because you can see, as soon as you have peripherals, these people can create so much. And I'm looking, and I look at her. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is who they're trying to force me to look. Right? They've done it too much younger. But when you do that to all the kids, it doesn't break me too much, because, okay, it's like, you're forcing me. It's like, but when you do that to babies, that disturbs me. It hurts. It disgusts me even more. So I'm looking at this kid. It's like pimples and I'm like, come on. I don't even want to insult you. You're just a kid. But come on. I want to say, do you really see me, like, really try to even think about it? You're like, and it's so embarrassing. And then you see somebody there, which you'll see a picture, and I'll talk about it. She's just holding her in front of me. That's her phone. Just just holding in front of me, like, just obviously, like, oh. Like, she doesn't move, just like she saw what just happened in my head, and just like, basic gaslighting methods. And you see that, you'll see in the picture, just like standing there. Like, I know you forced me to experience this. And then later on, you'll see the babies. Oh my gosh, that is painful. That is the most disturbing. Beautiful little girl, like 10, 9-year-old girl, tried to force me, black little girl, tried to force me to get this disturbing stimulations. And tried to get me to, like, stimulation, like, oh, you're going to get raped. Oh, they'll be laughing too. Because they want you to accept these things. They're like, you're going to be castrated. It's like, listen, you can castrate me. You can do all these things. But you think I'm going to let you live your fantasy? Because you manipulate me to see these kids in these disturbing ways? Then they say, we match it to you as a kid. Like, these people, and they try to use tonality. You still sound like a bottom feeder, stupidity of a human, to try to gaslight somebody, to be like, no, we matched to you as a kid. And it's sorry, sounding try to sound like, oh, if I sound this way, it's still like a menacing way. They matched. Yeah, we matched to you as a kid. That's basically what they're trying to say. You felt like that when you were a kid. We matched. You now, you're 30 something. And to them, it's like, oh, I should be like, oh, just, yeah, there is this kind of feeling. You felt it before, maybe when you were a kid. So you're telling me that you are manipulating my brain to think in a way that I would have thought when I was a kid, when I'm in my 30s, and think that's like That's sensical. You understand? It's like you're going to be castrated. To them, this is like, oh my gosh. That makes sense. These people, they live in an alternate reality. But the reality is this. They've done this to much more vulnerable people than me. They do this pedophilia type of torture. It is a tactic. It is a system they use to break people down. And when they use this tactic for me, they try to make me subscribe to it like this, no. And then they try to talk about me as a kid. That's the most disgusting part, is to listen to these grown men and women, not even grown men and women, whoever is involved, who try to talk about me as a child, the stupid thing a kid can do in 8th grade. In 8th grade, a child. And try to exaggerate it one day, like, it's so disgusting. The different versions they try to create. And they're like, you see, that's proof because when you were a kid, you did this. And I'm like, I know, at this point I've heard of what they do to kids. Right? I know they torture children in different ways. Sexual, suffocation, all that. And they try to disorient me. It's like, talk about it. Yeah. I know they suffocate babies. Do you understand the anger and the aggressiveness that can come from thinking like that? That these people who have the audacity to talk about me as a child, who then force me to experience these disgusting things to our children. Forget about the psychological manipulations they do to adults. They actually torture children. It's just like, I want to see you low-life trash, who's involved in this program, who most likely will be doing this to a woman or a child. Tell me, it's just disgusting. Especially when I see a grown man. It's nasty. It's disgusting. It's just like, you're like, oh my gosh. I'm talking to people who are disgusting this level. And then, of course, they use pedophilia as a tool. When you sleep, babies, they're making me dream about it, and then force me to get stimulation, condition me. There's even fireworks and stuff. The whole ecosystem around you is meant to break you to accept this nastiness. And like, now we match it to you as a kid, and to really want you to think about it. To understand that makes sense. You tell me, imagine I was talking to this 37-year-old man. I'm like, remember in 8th grade, you're in middle school? Yeah, I'm going to make you think like a middle schooler. You how old? You have a kid in the middle school? I'm going to make you think like the kid that you have. It's just, and I'm not, and to the truth is, what they're doing is even manipulating you as a child, manipulating your thoughts, your memories of who you were as a child, making you think that this is something you would think, you get the stimulation. No, this is what they make you do. This is what they make you experience. And they slam the trash, bang, like, as if they are trying to act the way into rationalizing things that is just nonsensicalness, making it more obvious that it's falsified. So, Ben, no, you felt like that when you were a kid. Oh my God. No, that's how you as a kid. Grown men and women in a program that torture children are doing. In a program that does horrible things like, it's not fair. Yes, it's not fair for you. Because one, you try to make a grown man think that this is logical. Two, I know you manipulate memories as a child. You think, can you imagine? Try to get somebody to think in this way and then manipulate the memory of a child. Like, manipulate your memory in your childhood. They even manipulate my memories now, like 3 years ago. So in the childhood, oh my gosh. But their logic is, but the obviousness of here is they obviously do the pedophilia type of torture. And to them, it's trying to get you to accept these things. And the parents that led these people, and I'll show you this beautiful little girl. Oh, so sad. So sad. Me saying that, like, I see. And then, because they turned that little beautiful little girl into something pedophilia then in my head to give me some sexual sensation to this kid. Try to get you to accept this thing. It's like, I know it's falsified. So sad. But then, like, I identify to that. No, I'll never. Now, I know my brain is for you guys to manipulate however you want. So I experience things the way you want me to experience it. I understand the sophistication of this weapon. That's why they love to, they call themselves gods. Because they can make you feel the way they want you to feel. They can make you think the way they want to make. They are controlling everything that I experience. My failures are not even mine anymore. Everything is controlled and manipulated. And they then try to force you to accept these things. It's disgusting. And I'm like, I'd rather die this way. Because the reality of things is, you are talking about me as a kid. And you have to exaggerate things. And then you try to force me as an adult to think that I'm thinking like that. And then to make me think toward kids like that. And then say, it's you when you were a kid. And manipulate my memories as a child. You, in a program who's renowned to do the pedophilia for torture. They force people to think in a pedophilia ways. They condition your brain every day. They've done this thing with my tongue. Oh my gosh. It was just nasty. Now I can never be myself again. They're gonna override my thoughts. They talk about they're gonna win. Yes. If you mean that my brain is gonna somehow be acceptive of these things, yes, because my brain is no longer logical. That I understand. I live in reality. That's why when I talk, I'm against what my brain is going. I'll never be myself. My brain will never find logic. If right now I'm finding logic in that, it's because they haven't cranked up their different manipulation of thoughts. I understand that. And so it's disgusting. And they even try to make me feel like, okay, you see, your family is involved. It's like, what? Do you know how much validation I've had? Family member being involved in this? I've been validated. I know, yes. And I'm looking at my family. I'm like, I know they would get involved. I'm looking at my different member of my family. It's like, yes, I see how they would be involved. And they even try to make me, and I don't want to go in details. Think about like certain siblings of mine. Like, oh my gosh, if this happened, you think, you understand? I put things in perspective, and I'm glad that I didn't get tricked. Not even tricked, but I didn't fall into that. Like, I'm glad. I know my siblings do not want to be my shoes, for sure. I'm being tortured. I'm being forced to think in this way. But I do not want to change places with my siblings. Because now they have to dumb themselves down. Because I know what this program is about. They have a systematic pattern that you cannot miss a mile away. You have to really, 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 really dumb yourself down to a degree that is unbelievable. It is a skill to dumb yourself to that level. It is a skill. Like when you hear like almost all target individuals are forced to see child porn in their mind. What does it mean? Does it mean that there's a tendency of using pedophilia as a weapon? No. Perception manipulation. Somebody's talking about it. How is this person saying that literally? That they do the manipulation of perception, thoughts, and it usually is very perverted and disturbing. What have I been saying? It's obvious. It's there, but this is a program that is meant to destroy, break down somebody in every way. Depattern you, repattern you in different fashion. I've talked about it in different ways. I got a chance to say everything I need to say. I know I'm doing so much. I'm making a lot of videos, but the reason why I'm making so many videos is because I understand the reality that at this level, there'll be a time when I will not be able to speak. So I understand reality. Let me say what I need to say while I can. That's just the reality. And you know how they try to make me feel doubtful? The most illogical things. They will say, oh, you see, you thought this was not there, so it's not there, you see? That's what you see. You thought, just nonsensical. Nonsensical. I'll go probably in details later. I think this is my first initial video, but it was just so stupid. And they create these battles to make you be doubtful. It's just like, no, of course I know. It's not there because it's no longer there. It's been removed. It's like, no, is it? Was it? Did you see? Other things are completely non. And to see these people, the facade that's been presented to me is just disgusting. It's just disgusting. It's disgusting because I hate the fact that they use these women that try to portray themselves as the avengers, protectors. And they say that we're doing it for this person. I'm like, oh my goodness. How much blocking out do you have to do to block out the testimonials of these women? I'm literally in the same video who literally I said this. This has impacted men, women, and children. By the way, they try to block that out by doing something kind of stupid, but I'm never going to. This has been impacting men, women, and children all around the world. Then you hear this woman from somewhere in Asia speaking about what's happening to her and her family. Then you hear these people in different countries speaking about what's happening to them. Women, a lot of women. I think majority of the people speaking are women. So you think that I'm really like, oh, you guys are different? It's disgusting. But you have to understand, this is what is that's the reality of being a target individual. For me, target individual, I'm not trying to demoralize any target individual. Please fight, survive, do whatever you need to. And make this, I'm not saying there might be an end for you that's happy. But I don't care for me. I don't care about being happy at the end. I'm just happy that this is dignity. This is dignified. Now, do I want to be in pain? I don't. Do I want to be screaming and whatever? I don't. But this, we all end up, I don't want to be preachy, but the death is just the end result for all of us. So imagine you have to live the life doing these things. You know how many hours they dedicate doing these things? They don't even know what's going to happen to them. But they do these foul things. Like one might think this is biblical. And these entities contracting them, guess what? Of course. It's just like so obvious. Surprise, there's a bunch of pedophiles in these agencies. Why would they utilize this pedophile type of torture? And then finding out that the entities that really architect this program, it's not going to be from apartment 14N, okay? It's not going to be from 22C. It's coming from entities, agencies that obviously are within the Department of Defense. DOD, DARPA, CIA, this is where this thing comes from. Those agencies, pedophilia-centric. Like a problem that is rampant there. That's what these people are. You try to, and they are the true evil. They're disgusting. You know, they used to call themselves, oh, we evil. Oh, what do you think this is? You guys are the bunch of pedos. In my head right now, they try to make me have this battle because this person in the elevator is a how the shit was like the back and forth. Anybody who's like, who could be like 20, 21, 20, the battle goes all back and forth. It's crazy. So to all my target individuals, stay strong. Because you know that they're going to try to break you down and make you think that you are something and somebody that you're not. Me, every day, every night, I get some weird, disturbing dreams with conditioning and stimulations and manipulations that are so nasty. There's disgusting pedophilia things about babies, and oh my gosh, it's so disgusting. Training your brain to start thinking like that. It's just non-stop. Disgusting sexual thoughts about children and babies that are being implanted in my brain by these lowlifes. And try to get you to think it's you or not you. You're like, ugh. It's like, oh, you might be. It's like, yeah, I'm sure I might be. Yes, it's not the pedophilia things that you're renowned to be forcing people to experience. Disgusting lowlifes. And then try to look at you like you think, oh, you going see, you think that you looking at me like that, it's gonna make me accept these things? This is crazy. But that's the world we're in. As target individuals, that's what we are. And there's a purpose why they use these tactics. It's because this tactic will break you down, and they want you as a target individual to break down, to cause some kind of psychological breakdown. That will do it, to the point where you really contemplate some bad things. But then thank God for the validations, because that kind of makes you stronger in the sense that why, if this person can endure this horrible life, if this man, if this woman with their children can deal with this for so long, you should be able to fight at least as long as you can and not give up. And so you become strong. And I'd rather die this way, and we found out this is actually a dignified death. I know they're going to try to create a theater to stop that from happening. Because these people have understood that what they're part of, there's no way to make it look good. It's nothing brave. It's nothing dignified. It's disgusting. It's cowardly. It's pedophilia-centric. It's basically, if there's such thing as evil, as in like biblical evil, and you sign your soul to like a devil, this would be like a comparison to it. Because everything they do is done in these disgusting ways. It's easy. Even a child can be involved. It's just like, it takes very little to do what they do. Every once in a while they open and yell something. Like everything is cowardly. Oh, it's disgusting. It's just, ugh. It's just like everything you can't even try to, and they were trying to put this feminist, like, oh, we're going to do it. Oh, we're going to dare because we're going to do it for this woman. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why do you think I'm so strong now? Because a bunch of women are saying what's happening to them, and it's exactly what's happening to me. And because I can see these strong women, defenseless women, dealing with these things, I couldn't be like, oh my gosh, no, I can't do that. Because if this woman with children, women who they're like fighting for years and years, and I'm like, oh, that's it, I can't. No, let me stay strong until I can't. So I'm attacking vigil. Stay strong and know that justice will be done. Because they're going to try to break you down. And you should never break down. Never. And when I mean break down, I don't mean that obviously your body and your mind is going, but never subscribe to this identity they want you to accept. Right now what they're doing, they're like, I've said it before. They were 3 a.m. You are. To try to tell me and that's early on. I'm like, I wake up, I'm like, oh, okay, I might be. Try to go back to sleep. 3 a.m. Sirens and everything. It's like, oh, you might be, huh? Now they're like, oh, you might be. This is the kind of mentality of people they utilize. Well, of course, they know better. These people, I know that if they continue this repetition and repetitive tactics, this is going to break somebody down. Now, I will not break down in the sense that I will subscribe to this, but my brain is going to be fatigued. My brain is going to collapse, maybe. But this is why I make videos. Yes, I will physically collapse. My brain will collapse. I'll be super fatigued, but I will never subscribe to this nastiness. So you'll see those videos and show the kind of people who try to make you subscribe and do disgusting things that make me look at in these disturbing ways. I'm talking about the little girls and the little babies that make me look at in these disgusting ways. Try to create some nasty pedophilia things. Yeah. So till my tagging visuals, stay strong. I know that justice will be done.